So I'm currently working on a freezer made by Advantco. I'm guessing it's a Chinese company, similar to a different freezer that I was working on. In fact, it has the exact same control modules. Up here I had to replace these on one freezer, and on that particular freezer that had this same kind of control, similar construction, and pretty much everything the same. That was the one I had explode. Now I was looking in here, wanted to see what kind of refrigerant this system is using. You can see refrigerant R290. R290 is purified propane. So this freezer right here runs on propane as the refrigerant. The system did not have any ports, so I had to add a line tap, which is what's over there. So anyway, this system is running R290. I initially thought that it was low, but the condensing coil was also really dirty. So I cleaned out the condensing coil, turned it on, and it ended up pulling into a vacuum briefly on the low side. But I think that's because this was full of really cold water that had dripped out of the freezer. So it was condensing all that hot gas into a liquid really quickly, bringing the whole system pressure down a lot at first. But after it equalized, it eventually came up to about 5 degrees. And 5.7 or something for R290 equates to like -35 degrees vapor saturation temperature. So I think that the system is actually still fine. We're going to let it run overnight and see how it does. But now I have in this hose 5 psi of a refrigerant that is supposedly based on propane, made actually pretty much just of a purified propane. So we're going to test and see if it's flammable, because I'm really curious whether or not it's actually flammable. Temperatures come down to 10.9, so I think that we're going to be in good shape. R290. Oh, I'm really excited to see if it's flammable. We'll see if we can catch this on video, but we're going to do it outside, not inside. Check out that sunset. It's like so perfect and beautiful. Anyway, we're going to now check if this is flammable, because I'm really curious. I still have 5 psi. I don't really want to hurt the gauges, but I guess it would just hurt the hose, right? I think it would just hurt the hose. So I'm just going to try to let it out really slowly. That is way more flammable than I expected. It probably wasn't super good for the rubber seal. I need to replace those seals anyway. But, whoa! So yeah, that stuff is flammable. I don't think it has any. I probably shouldn't smell it, but I don't think it has any of that stuff that normally makes propane stink. It's just pure propane without, because the stuff that makes propane stink is an intentional impurity. They put it in there so that you don't just blow up in your house. It's so that if there is a leak, you smell it and you're like, oh, what is that? Oh, propane. And then you can fix the leak instead of dying. So I wonder if it just doesn't have any of that sort of additive in it. And to my understanding, they only use it in smaller freezers, but I've seen smaller freezers explode. I can maybe put a clip of the one that I had explode in the end of this. And I would not want one to explode that has that kind of refrigerant in it, because it would be a big ball of flame coming out of there. So just, we have so many like really good proven refrigerants. I don't know why we would use propane as a refrigerant. It just seems like a really bad idea, because it's a lot more dangerous both for technicians and for businesses, because it could potentially burn down your place. It just doesn't seem like a good idea. But anyway, now I know that R290 is actually flammable. So talk to you later.